Okay, I think we are live. We are live, everyone. I'm gonna wait for a few more people to join. Hello, Coco. How are you? Is this working right? Because I'm streaming from my computer instead of my phone, so I don't know. I'm new to this, so if there's any problems, then I'm sorry. I'm doing good, Coco. Hello, Damon. Brandon, black screen. Let me see if I can fix it. How do I get rid of the black screen? We are having some technical difficulties. There's so many settings, I'm trying to find the right one. Why is it a black screen? We should have video. One second. What's up, Aiden? No, I'm not using any Hangouts. Aiden, I need your help. How do you get OBS to show your camera? How do you get it to show your webcam? Why isn't this working? Technical difficulties. Okay, everyone. There are 8 people watching. We are having some difficulties getting the video working. So I'm on it, trying to fix it. Video capture device. This isn't as straightforward as I hoped it would be. Okay, video capture device, create new. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's drag that. This is so odd. Can you guys see me dragging this around? Trying to Okay, there we go. That'll do. Okay, so this live stream is the purpose of this live stream is so I can talk to you guys and address some things that are going on in my life. So I'm recording this live stream with my camera so I can post it in a higher resolution later. And yeah, alright, so I guess I'm going to wait for a few more people to join. So if anyone has any quick questions, then I would be happy to answer them. And I'm going to be looking back and forth between the cameras, so yeah. Seems to be a little bit of latency, but that's okay. Okay, so we hit 500 subscribers today, which is a milestone for me. Whenever I started this channel, I really didn't think it was going to even get this big. And I know it's kind of cliche for someone to say this, but it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing that we've already hit 500 subscribers. And so a subscriber count is just a number. It's not the subscribers that matter, it's the people. It's the people and the type of people that are watching my videos. Damon asks, are you at the lake house now? I got back about, let's see, when did I get back? Tuesday. I got back last Tuesday, and I am 95% done editing the first video. There's only going to be 2 videos out of the 5 days that I was there. I didn't film as much as I'd like to, and I've learned that the next vacation that I have, I'm going to film more. So yeah, expect the video today. I'm almost finished, and I think you guys will like it, even though it's really short. Let's see if I can move this camera a little bit closer. So there we go. All right, 10 people watching. Hello, Theodore. How have you been today? What time is it where you guys lived? I'm just curious. I wonder how much latency we're getting here. There seems to be way more latency than on the mobile app. If you live stream with a mobile app, it seems to have a lot less latency. Gavin Nada, how are you? Okay, so school starts this Tuesday. So I don't really know how this is going to affect anything on my posting schedule, because my posting schedule is already askew anyway. So I think by having school and having that structure, that time structure, that it will actually help me make more videos, because on the weekend, that's the only time I'm going to have to make a longer video and a more in-depth video. So I might post a video every weekend whenever school starts. So that, yeah. 126 in Denver. It is currently 2:27 here in Northwest Arkansas. Alright, so let's talk about this book that I'm reading. This one for later. This is called Metal Cowboy. And it's a book about let's see, what's his name? Joe Kramaski, who's the author of this book, and he rides all around the country, and this book is about some of his stories while he was out on the road and some of his adventures, and I'm only about a quarter of the way into it, but it's a very good book, and just has a lot of neat adventures and stories and lessons to learn. So if you like cycling like I do, if you like cycling, then go and pick up this book. This is kind of odd having 2 different perspectives, because I have this camera going on and then this camera going on, so I don't know which one to speak to. Anyways, so how is everyone? How is everyone on the stream today? Is everyone good? Are you having a good day? It's cool I've said this a lot, but it's cool that I can bring together a lot of people through a live stream and actually talk to you guys, and we're on completely separate parts of the world. But I can still talk to you through a webcam and the internet. See if I can gather my thoughts, because I wanted the stream to have more purpose than the last stream. I wanted to address the fact that I have a lot of videos planned. I have a lot of video topics and ideas for future videos, and I also have a video coming up, which I've already discussed, the lake house video from Hot Springs. And even though it's short, I think it's going to be just a fun overview of the first day of our lake trip. So I'm not in the lake house right now. This is my room. And yeah, I live in 2 different houses, because whenever I was around 4, my parents divorced, and now I have 2 different houses that I live at. I just switch between my dad's and my mom's house, and it doesn't really affect me that much, because it's basically how my life has been for the past 10 years. So I'm used to it, and yeah, this is my house at my mom's. Hi Oliver, how are you doing? Okay, what did I want to talk about? All of my thoughts have just left me. Long pause waiting for my brain to process what is happening. Life is going euphorically, Oliver says. Of course it is. Life is always going euphorically. Life is just amazing. Whenever you really think about your problems and how small they are compared to the problems that people have in the rest of the world, they become almost unnecessary. You shouldn't get upset about your problems when it could be much worse. If you take everything in perspective, then you can really find true happiness. Oliver tells me to talk about my plans for the future and where do I see myself in 10 years. That is actually one of the topics I wanted to discuss. The topic about maybe what career path I might choose. So I am completely on the wall about this. I have no idea what career path I'm definitely going to choose, but I do like trying to help out the environment in the best I can. So maybe clean energy would be a cool career path for me to pursue. I posted some lake pictures on Instagram, and so if you want to go see those, I'll post more later, but if you want to go see those, then go check out my Instagram. So I want to live my life not by money, and things aren't what really make me happy. I like experiences, traveling new places, and getting to meet new people. That's what makes me happy. And actually, it took me a long time to realize this, because about a year ago, actually, I was always thinking about, oh, what cool thing could I save up my money for and get? And I lived for that little high that you would get whenever you maybe bought something new and tried it out for the first time. But it wasn't until recent months that I realized that I don't need this stuff to be happy, and being happy with what you have is the best thing. That's how you have to be happy. You have to be happy with what you have, because if you're always looking for the next thing to buy, you're never going to be content. So In 10 years, I would consider myself to be a minimalist. I'm going to try to be a minimalist. I want to see if I can live in my car for a year and just travel the world. That's one of my dreams. Just reading some of these comments here. Oliver asked top 3 places on my bucket list. I guess I'll re-answer that question from my Q&A. So, let's see. I want to visit Yosemite National Park in California because I think it's beautiful, the Yosemite Valley, and also I want to visit the Redwood Forest because I love trees and I've never seen a redwood tree, and from pictures that I've seen online that they're huge trees, and that would be so cool to actually see them and get up close to one. And just the wildlife and animal population down in the Redwood Forest, it'd be really cool to take my camera down there and film some of the animals and some of the natural formations. Also, I think there's mountain bike trails down there, so if I go down there, I'm definitely going to be taking a mountain bike. Amar says, a van adventure is one of my dreams too. Yeah, that would be really fun. You'd get to experience so much in a year of just living in your car. Coco asked top 3 countries you want to go. I haven't traveled the world much. I haven't been out of the US, and I've only been out of Arkansas maybe 3 or 4 times. So I don't really know how the rest of the world is like from my experience, but I definitely want to visit Brazil because I had a foreign exchange student friend down there, and he moved back down there, and I told him that whenever I'm old enough, I'm going to go down there with my bike, and we are going to go for a bike ride because when he was down here in the US, we would always ride bikes. He had a specialized Tarmac, which is a road bike, and he actually raced, so a specialized Tarmac is actually a pretty decent bike. That was probably the first bike that I've ridden that costed more than $2,000. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but whenever you're racing a bike, you need a nice bike to actually win, because there's all different bike materials, and whenever you start getting up into the higher priced bikes, you get into carbon fiber bikes, and those can be pretty expensive. Okay, we're going off topic. Top 3 countries I'd like to visit. Brazil, and maybe France. I want to see the cobbled paths, and I want to see all of the valleys and everything. Where else would I like to go? Iceland maybe. I just like going places. I can't really decide a top 3 countries because I don't really know a lot about the geography of most countries, and I just love all of the landscapes in every country, it seems like. Today is a really melancholy day. It is raining outside. I really like the setting of a rainy day. Whenever I read a book that has a vague setting, that's how I imagine the setting of a book. I imagine it being a rainy day and sort of melancholy. Man, I had so many topics that I wanted to talk about before I hit that stream button, but now they just all left my head. Oh yeah, so I wanted to talk to you guys about my mountain biking career, I guess you could say. No, not really a career, but my mountain biking hobby. So I have a Giant ATX, which is a bike, and I'm going to race in with a local team, and I think it'll be fun. That this happens in September. There's going to be a race in September and later in the year, so I'm definitely going to make some films about that. One thing that I've learned from going to Hot Springs and trying to film a video while in Hot Springs is that you need to film a lot more than you think you need to, because whenever you go home and you edit a video, you realize that you cut out a lot of film and you end up not having enough. So whenever you're down having an adventure, then make sure you film a lot. So that's just a little tip for aspiring filmmakers. In filmmaking, you never stop learning. You never stop learning, even if you're not trying to learn. Whenever you're watching someone else, you're learning. You're learning about new ways to film. You're learning about new editing styles. And even whenever you're filming yourself, the more you do something, the better you get. So I'm probably going to end the stream at about 45 minutes because I want this to be pretty concise. So this is sort of just a quick talk between you and me. So yeah. Okay, what's another topic that I wanted to talk about? Is this awkward for you guys? Just listening to me? Not the kind of like, can you hear my thoughts going through my head? I'm just a kid sitting in my room, filming a video, making a live stream. Oh, I completely forgot what I wanted to talk about. Do you guys have any questions for me while I think? Guy Van Nata says, no, not awkward until you just pointed it out. JK. So the good thing about this is that for the people that haven't watched this stream, I can just cut out long pauses because I'm going to delete this and then upload the high resolution video from my camera. Hey, Coco asks, if you were to meet anyone in the world besides the VR, who would it be? Oh, Blogger Roundtable. I had to think for a second. Who would I meet? Man, I really don't get out. I don't know a lot of people, but I think it would probably have to be maybe this guy. That'd be cool to meet this guy. Joe Kermeski. Joe Kermeski. From what I can tell from this book, he's a pretty fun guy. I know who I'd like to meet. I would like to meet Seth from Seth Bike Hacks. I like his editing style and I like his tips, and a lot of you guys may not know him because most of you are probably not into bikes as much as I am, but Seth Bike Hacks, he has a YouTube channel and he just seems like a cool guy. Some of his earlier videos are a little bit, maybe need to be like age restricted. I don't agree with some of his earlier videos, but his latest videos, he seems to be a pretty cool guy. So it'd be cool to maybe go on a bike ride with him. Okay. Damon asks, why is my cousin Gabe not here today? What is today? Today is Sunday. I don't know. He's probably out doing something. I took apart my bike the other day, and I broke the chain with a chain breaker, which is, it doesn't break the chain, it just pushes out a pin and then you can take the chain off. But now the chain actually did end up breaking, so I need to get a new chain for it. Let's talk about how I feel about my drone. So, for those of you who don't know, I own a DJI Phantom 3 and I got it for Christmas. And as I was discussing about how you need to be happy with what you have, well, last Christmas was kind of before I realized this, and I really wanted a drone, so my parents got it for me. And now I sort of regret them getting it for me, because I don't think that's I almost feel like I don't deserve it. And so every time I use my drone, I'm like, oh, man, this could really go to someone else who could use it so much more. And it almost kind of hinders me from using my drone, because every time I use it, I sort of get in this mood where it's like, should I sell my drone or give it away to someone? Because I feel like someone like Oliver, or just feel like someone could use it so much more than me. And don't get me wrong, I use my drone a lot, but I think I need to use it more. And you do not need a drone by any means to have a good YouTube channel. A drone is probably you don't need a drone at all to have a good YouTube channel. So for the people wondering about that, you don't need a drone. Yes, my stepdad found a new job, and we were talking the other day, and he wants to start his own business maybe someday, so that'd be really cool. I like what PTG, his name is Paul, I like what he says. He says, nobody deserves anything. You are fortunate. Use that to your advantage. Yeah, but I feel like I should give back to people who aren't as fortunate. So whenever I was little, I never really, well, up until now, I just cleaned out my room, and I had a lot of toys and little knickknacks and things from when I was little, and I donated that to not really a yard sale, but a sale, and the profits for that sale was going to go to someone we know who has a daughter who has cancer, so that makes me feel a little bit better about myself. I think I'm going to end the stream at around 40 minutes, just because I thought I'd have more to talk about in this stream. I don't know if I'm just forgetting everything, but before I started the stream, I felt way more confident that I had a lot of topics to talk about. What are some of your guys' hobbies? What other hobbies do you have? Oliver over here, he's trying to ask me questions, so I don't have this long pause. Thank you, Oliver, for helping me out. He asks, what if you knew you were going to die in 2 weeks, what would you do? How would you spend your time? If I knew I was going to die in 2 weeks, I would go to the nearest train track and wait for a train to come by, and I'd hop on the train and see where it would take me. That would be so much fun to just see where the train takes me. My camera just stopped recording. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I don't know if I'm going to be able to upload a higher definition video because my camera just stopped recording, but it looks like it's recording again now. So we're going to have to wrap this up soon. I know what movie you're talking about, Coco. Lion. That was a really cool movie. If you guys have ever seen this movie, it's called Lion, then you know how good it is. But if you've never seen it, you have to watch it. It's a must-watch movie, and it teaches you, it gives you some good lessons. It's a really, really good movie. It has an awesome story, and it's based on a true story, which makes it even that much more engaging. I won't spoil the movie for you guys. What do I have to talk about? Huh. Coco asks if I've ever watched Birdman. I haven't watched. I've never watched Birdman. I don't really watch a lot of movies, but whenever I find something that I think I might like, then I'll watch it. Recently, I watched a documentary about food and the impact that it has on your health, and it's called What the Health, and I think it's a good movie for everyone to watch. Kind of just puts food in perspective. For those of you who don't know, I don't have like a special diet like vegetarian or vegan, but I do eat only organic or non-GMO food because I don't think you should put something that you don't know what it is or something that's made in a laboratory into your body. That just doesn't seem right to me. Of course, I'm not going to judge anyone for doing that, but for me personally, I wouldn't do that. If we were talking about movies regarding to Oliver's question, I would recommend to watch Knocking on Heaven's Door. Never seen that movie. I watched a movie last night called, what was it called? I think it was like, I forgot his name. What was the movie called? It was The Resurrection of Connor, or I completely forgot the name. Sorry. It was called The Resurrection of something, but it was a pretty cool movie. So the thing that scares me about GMO food is that it's expected that in about 20 years that all regular food that's non-GMO will be gone. Like everything will be genetically modified, which is kind of scary. And there are actually safe houses in Alaska and all over the world where people store seeds that are non-GMO, and it's kind of scary what we're doing to our world. I mean, we're cutting down the Amazon rainforest, we're cutting down so many beautiful places and turning it into houses, and it's pretty scary. Gavin Stone. The Resurrection of Gavin Stone. Oliver just reminded me of it. That's what the movie's called. I kind of like how this live stream, there's not very many people, so it's not like I'm just making a fool of myself in front of a huge group of people. Most of these are people that I somewhat know, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, this is not a structured live stream at all. This is not structured at all. That's okay. Amar asks if I have any siblings. I have a baby sister who is in the living room right now, and I have two other sisters. I have a full sister, a half sister, and a stepsister. So I have the whole shebang of sisters. And let me tell you, I love them, but sometimes they can get on your nerves. Coco says, I don't want organic food to go extinct. That'd be pretty bad. You know, it's kind of sad that the thought of spraying pesticides on your food is even a thing, because how does it make any sense that the pesticides aren't going to somehow get in your body whenever you spray it on your food? Oliver asks, what career do you think you'd be the worst at? Most likely a career that would involve me sitting in an office and working on a computer, because I sitting down and editing feels a lot different than sitting down and maybe doing some other, like a spreadsheet, making a spreadsheet, or doing something in that kind of career path. Sitting in a cubicle, I don't think I would enjoy that at all. Alex says, congrats on 500 subscribers. Thank you, Alex. Corba Milk says, engineered crops save billions from starvation. Look up Norman Borlaug. What I have to say to that is I think GMO crops should be a thing, but they should be contained in such a way that they don't get out into the wild and start reproducing and start messing with the environment, because whenever you start doing that, the whole food chain gets messed up and it could cause huge problems with the environment and the food chain. So I know about engineered crops saving billions from starvation, but I think they should be contained. And yeah, I think it's really sad that starvation even exists. Of course, I'm all for saving the people who are starving. I would consider myself to be really humble in that whenever I'm buying something, I think, do I really deserve this or do I really need it? And yeah. Amar asks, what is my favorite state in my opinion? I've seen, my dad used to live in West Virginia, and he has some family videos whenever he lived down there. And from what I can see, it's a pretty beautiful area, so I'd probably have to say West Virginia. PTG says, this is all going over my head. I just want to eat pizza and hamburgers. You guys are silly. So one of the things that I like about live streams is that it's not like there's no one trying to tell you how to be. You can't cut anything out. It's all just directly sent to you guys. Does anyone have any more questions for me before we wrap this up? Oh, that would be cool to live in Alaska. I didn't even think about that. Whenever winter starts and the weather starts getting colder, I always find myself like, oh, why is it so cold? But then further later in winter, whenever I get used to the cold, then I'm like, oh, it's gonna get so hot. So it's kind of hard to be happy with the weather sometimes. I think we have a small amount of people because I'm pausing so much, and people are like, well, why isn't he talking? My favorite color is blue. PTG asks, where do you think Jake Paul will be in 20 years? I don't know a lot about Jake Paul. I've heard about him and I've watched one of his videos just to see sort of how his personality, and I can say that he's not someone who I'd like to hang out with just by how he acts, and yeah, so I don't really know where he'd be in 20 years. Oliver the Joy Boy says, if you could tell the world a message in less than 30 seconds, what would it be? And in theory, everyone in the world would hear it. Okay, here we go. 30 seconds starts now. So, every choice that you make not only affects you, but it affects the people around you. So, whenever you're deciding between something, or whenever you're deciding if you should do something, don't just think about yourself, think about other people. Think about how it would make other people feel and how it would physically affect them, and don't let your selfishness take over your decision. People need to influence your decisions. Okay, there. My camera just died. I'm just going to keep this video. Guy Vanetta says, if you could time travel, when would you go? I would probably go 50 years in the future just to see how the world has become, because, if I were to have kids, I wouldn't want to put them in the world if it was a terrible place in 50 years. So that would change my decision. It would change my decision to have kids. I cannot speak today. Oh no, Sambo. I was going to end it at 45 minutes, but if you have any questions for me, then I'd be glad to answer them really fast. Coco asks, if you could create a foundation for any world problem, what would it be? I think the world needs more bikes. No, that wouldn't be the best foundation. What is a huge problem besides one that's not obvious? Let me think for a second. I'll get back to you, Coco. Alex says, nice, I like your philosophy, what you just said. PTG asks, what show are you binging? Me right now is Prison Break. So good. I don't watch TV. That might come as a surprise, but I don't really watch TV. I spend most of my time either on my bike or just being outside. Yeah, I don't really watch TV. Okay, back to Coco's question. If you could create a foundation for any world problem, what would it be? Most likely it would be maybe to use less water, because think about how much energy water takes to process, and think about if everyone used a gallon less of water every day, that would be well over like millions of gallons, because everyone in the world probably uses, let me get the statistic on that. How much water does the average person use? Here we go. Each person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water per day. So how many people are in America? There are 323 million people in the US. So if everyone in the US who had water used a gallon less of water a day, that would be probably around 290 million gallons less of water. And that would save so much energy. So much of burning coal and nuclear power. Just reading some of your guys' comments. Okay, we are running on 47 minutes now, so I'm going to answer 5 more questions. So if anyone has any more questions for me, because whenever I started this stream, I felt like I had a lot more to talk about, but I guess apparently I didn't. So if you guys have any questions, then yeah, I'm going to answer them. John Brown says, sorry Jake, only just got the notification. What advice would you give President Trump on internal affairs in North Korea? What is internal affairs? I'm sorry, I don't know a lot about politics. One second, I'm just going to look up internal affairs. Oh, internal affairs is an officer or some government worker doing something that they shouldn't be doing. That's what I got from that definition. If that's what that means, then I think every officer or government official should maybe, while they're working, have a body cam to kind of monitor what they're doing. And if they do anything wrong, then that should be addressed accordingly. Amar says DSLRs or mirrorless. I couldn't really tell you because I've only had a DSLR. I guess my phone is considered a mirrorless camera because it's just a sensor. But sometimes I think people spend too much time thinking about what's the best camera I should get. What's the best camera? What's the best camera? What's the best camera? Stop asking what the best camera is and just go out and film. That's the fun of it. The only thing a camera does is allow you to capture the world around you. And it's kind of hard to find a camera nowadays that doesn't do at least 720p. And in my eyes, 720p is alright. So you could learn as much as you could with your phone than a expensive DSLR or big mirrorless camera. you don't really need an expensive camera to start filmmaking. Coco says, what are your opinion on zoos? I guess it would have to, my opinion on zoos is that I don't really like that animals are in captivity, but if they're being treated right and if they're being cared for right, then I don't see a huge problem with it, because zoos provide a way for us to learn about animals, and that's kind of cool. I think animals were put on this earth so we could learn about them and have awe in them, but I also think that it's not ethical to throw animals in a cage and just feed them. I mean, animals need to feel free and they need to be able to move around. So if it's a zoo that just throws animals in cages and just gives them water and food and doesn't really give them any attention, then I don't agree with that. I think it should be illegal. But if it gives them a good area and a natural area for the animals, then I don't see a problem with it. Kai Oliver, I don't know how you pronounce your last name, sorry, says, you look sad, you should smile more. Amor asks, he says amazing answer. Alex says, and zoos, the good ones, are also about conservation. Okay, I think we're going to bring this to a close. I'm going to answer one more question. My cheeks feel funny. One last question. Anybody got a question for old Jake? Coco says, Jake, you need to go to Kenya at least once in your life. I'll go to Kenya. I want to travel the world. I'm open to any place. I feel like the next stream, I'm obviously going to do another stream sometime in the future, but if I do another stream, then I'll definitely have maybe a list of some topics. So I hope I haven't bored you guys. I don't want you to feel obligated to watch this if you're not having a good time. Digital Blast says, do you consider Orion Eschel an accomplice? Who is that guy? No, I'm just kidding. Orion's an awesome guy. Seems like a fun kid to hang out with, definitely. So yes, I'd consider him an accomplice. Guy Van Natta says, when's your next live stream? I don't know. I didn't even know that I was going to live stream today, which might be some of the reason that I wasn't prepared for it. But I got up and I was like, you know what? I'm going to live stream today. When do you go back to school? Asks Big Ben Star. I go back to school on Tuesday, and I've actually been talking to my parents about the idea of maybe trying online school, because I really want to experience what that would be like before my opportunity is gone. Digital Blast, aka Aiden, says, "Aw, unfortunate to hear that you have bought into Eschel's lies." Okay, well, I think that's going to wrap it up. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much. I hope you had a good time. Definitely next live stream I'm going to come more prepared and charge my camera all the way. It was about 50% and it died. So, yeah. See, how do I end this now? Bye, everyone.